It's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. This reading vlog I'm so excited for because we're going to be tackling the first book to a new fantasy trilogy that I've literally only heard amazing things about. But without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about the book I hope to read. So the book on my TBR is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. Basically everything about this book just sounds really interesting to me. So many of you guys have also left comments recommending that I check out this book, and I'm honestly thrilled to be picking it up because I need a new series to obsess about because I feel like I've wrapped up a lot of them recently, but let's sit down and talk more about it. But The Raven Scholar is set in this world where there is an empire, and the founding of this empire, there were these 8 gods. A raven, a monkey, an ox, a fox, a dragon, a bear. Let's see if I can remember them all. And some others. But the point is, those founding gods also have like specific clans that are associated with them, like ways of life, magic, philosophy, and there's like key personality traits associated with those different god animals. Fast forward to present day, this empire has been running now for 1500 years, and that is every 24 years there's a competition for the throne. The current emperor steps down. Each one of these like god animal houses puts forth a champion. They compete against each other through a set of trials. The winner takes the throne, which is how the story opens up, where we're introduced to our main character Nima, who is part of the Raven Coalition, which is like very scholarly, very library focused, very research, very knowledge, like that type of thing. And she is the highest scholar under the current emperor, and she's very unpopular because she's a commoner and she was never like fully accepted by the Raven community. This competition is about to happen, but unfortunately one of the contestants is found dead before it starts, resulting in our main character having to like solve this murder and navigate a bunch of political intrigue. That's the setup of the story, and I just feel like it's going to be super entertaining. It has trial elements, which I always love in a fantasy story, but it's also combined with what appears to be like a murder mystery. I am just so intrigued. Again, this is going to be a trilogy. It's a pretty chunky book as well. It's also a beautiful paperback. So I'm just so excited to get started in this, let y'all know how I'm feeling about it as we move along. But welcome to the start of this vlog. I actually think I'm gonna sit down now and do some reading. It also looks like it's about to rain outside, which could not be better timing if you ask me. Like, look how gloomy it is out there.
Tilda also wants a rainstorm, so cross our fingers.
I'm headed to a friend's house tonight to watch Freaky Friday, but obviously I had to bring something. So I think I'm gonna make all of these chocolate chip cookies and bring them. So let's put these out on a sheet tray, very gourmet. Homemade. Okay, I've only read 30 pages, but those 30 pages left quite the impression on me. I am intrigued and impressed so far. I'm very excited to read more.
Like that. He thinks you're his mother. We're gonna...
Hello everyone. Good morning. I owe y'all a reading update, that's for sure. Great news. I am loving The Raven Scholar, and I feel like I'm gonna be reading quite a big chunk of this today, especially because it's Friday and into the weekend. This has captured my attention immediately, and I do not say that lightly. This is definitely giving the energy of a book that I'm going to, one, really like, recommend, and I can also feel like a lot of other people picking this book up would really, really enjoy this. It's plot forward. The characters are incredibly engaging, again, right away. And sometimes you just know, you know, when you pick something up. This feels like more people should be reading it because so far it's a banger. I've read 100 pages, and just to kind of like chat about it at a high level. So obviously I've already mentioned, and this is a fantasy story that follows our main character Nima, who is part of the Raven contingent. Again, in this empire, there are these like different animals that represent gods, and there's also like traits associated with these gods. So for the ravens, they're like very scholarly, they're librarians, they're very information and like knowledge focused. There's the bear contingent who are like proud warriors who are like very dedicated to a modest way of life. Like there is the fox contingent, and they're very much giving like spy, assassin, trickery type of thing. We have the monkey contingent, which is my interpretation is they're kind of like performers. There's the tiger contingent who are also known to be great warriors, but they're more like solitary
very intense creatures. There are the Hound contingent, which is like very loyal. They tend to be the guards. They are also really good at like seeking out the truth. They have like a sixth sense, if you will. So there are these like different political factions that kind of have abilities associated with them and like different politics, different leaders, different ways of life. But again, they come together to do this competition every cycle where they put forth a champion and the winner gets to take over the throne. And then obviously this is important for their internal politics, because if you have the emperor in charge who comes from your faction, that faction is likely going to see, you know, maybe some added benefits, if you will. The book opens though not in present day. We basically get this scene of this family who is the wife and children of a traitor, which happened at the very beginning of the current emperor's like rule. Basically, another individual from a faction who lost within this competition rose up and tried to seize power anyway. As a result of this, that person passed away and his family has kind of been ostracized due to a variety of circumstances though. But during this like meeting of this family, a lot of stuff goes awry, resulting in the son being sent away to the tiger like monastery to train for the next competition, and for the daughter to be exiled and basically sentenced to death. And you get the sense that this sort of sets a wheel in motion, like fate, if you will. And like the ripples of this decision are going to impact things for years to come. Fast forward to present day, we're following Nima, who is the high scholar and a very talented raven, but is ostracized by the raven community because she is a commoner. And very quickly, we kind of get entrenched in her every day. She's politically powerful, but also socially not powerful, which is a really interesting dynamic. She's immediately so likable because, simply put, she's very capable, but she's also tied to that decision oh so many years before in regards to that exile, because she wrote the Order of Exile, which is like required of various Raven scholars. So she feels complicit in this like very famous, very tragic event. The trials are about to start. Other ravens and other people are arriving in the capital that she hasn't seen in a long time, including like her arch nemesis from school. Also her like past lover who is a fox. Like there's honestly in the first 100 pages, like so much stuff has happened, but it's easy to follow and incredibly engaging, and like I can just tell that the stage is being set. The concept of this fantasy world is so interesting, and I cannot wait to start reading these trials because I love trials. And obviously we know there's also going to be a murder mystery and like political conspiracy at play too. And I think our main character, being a scholar, which means she's like very good at attention to detail, researching, just like knowledge of this kingdom, is gonna obviously come into play. But what I wasn't anticipating was all of these very interesting character dynamics, both like as directly related to our main character Nima and like her relationships with people, both like past people from her schooling coming back, and then also like even romantic tie-ins. It's all very interesting. And then aside from following our main character Nima, I know I'm like rambling so much right now, we get these like aside chapters sometimes following other people. So we have like a focused perspective, like a limited narrator with our main character, but then sometimes we have these like omniscient experiences that allow us, the reader, to get a little more context that maybe Nima, our main character, wouldn't see. But to take a step back, trials, main character Nima, high scholar, very talented, not very liked. Interesting kingdom and world and politics, and all of those are obviously kind of in a fluid place because this competition is about to begin. So what does that mean? We've got issues from the past that seem like they're going to rear their head, and we know somebody is going to die. So what is that going to do for the rest of the story? I don't know, but I am super plugged in and very much engaged because it's just entertaining. Like right off the bat, I'm hooked. Like all these different elements are working for me, okay? Okay, I read a bit more. The conspiracy elements of this book, immediately fantastic. So the murder has occurred and our main character Nima has been pulled in to lead this investigation, but it's not because she's like revered. She's basically fighting for her own innocence, and there's like all these separate factors at play as well. Someone is dead. Many people could possibly be implicated in this murder, including our main character, but there also is seemingly like more at play. Like it's not a straightforward situation, which is just like, oh my gosh, this conspiracy. Also, trials have started. It's so entertaining. The trials are so well written. And of course, our main character Nima, already very busy girl, pulled into the trials, obviously, naturally. And so now we get like firsthand experience within these trials, and she is just fighting for her life out here. She does not want to be in them at all. And like, The conspiracy just introduced, but it is cooking. It is cooking. I am so hooked by this book. It's time to make a quick lunch of Mediterranean bowls. We're gonna chop some stuff up, but also I gotta put the couscous on the stove. In lunch is served some falafel, hummus, lettuce, a bit of couscous, obviously feta, red onion, cucumber. Scrumptious. All right, we're vegging out on the couch together. Clay is actually gone for the next like 36 hours. He's at a bachelor party in town. Meaning Matilda and I are gonna vibe together. We're gonna have a girls' weekend and I'm gonna do all of my favorite things. I'm gonna read more of the Raven Scholar. I'm gonna watch some of my historical Chinese drama I started, play some of my Switch, relax, vibe, all of the good stuff, you know? So it's gonna be a good time.
You know, guttural experience, really expressing your deepest emotions needs a lot of healing.
¿Qué vamos a hacer aquí? ¿Por cantar? Good, nice to see you. I had no intentions of saying anything.
Getting myself a little evening snack because we're about to move into the second wave of the evening. A very exciting wave at that. It's all happening, people, in the wise words of Sheena Shea. My fellow C-drama watchers out there will be thrilled to know that I've started Prisoner of Beauty, and it's as good as everyone said it was. I'm fully in my court intrigue bag right now because the Raven Scholar, so much court intrigue. I'm loving it so much. The Prisoner of Beauty has captivated me from episode 1. It's like enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, historical C-drama, and it's delivering on the angst. And the power dynamics between the two leads, so good. So that's what Millie and I are doing. We're excited about it. Alrighty, friends, we're moving into the final phase of the evening, reading more of the Raven Scholar, because this book is so exciting to pick up. It's so hard to put down. I cannot emphasize enough, like, this is a great fantasy book to get you out of a reading slump because it is just good on all fronts. But I'm gonna read more. Good morning, friends. So begins my official rot day. Obviously, we have to kick off the morning with a fresh pot of coffee. And I'm gonna sit down and do some reading, but I definitely owe you all a reading update because I stayed up way too late last night reading The Raven Scholar. I'm enjoying it so much. So let's read and let's talk about the book. But first, obviously, caffeine needs to be made. Hello, friends. Good morning. Caffeine and reading has concurred. I've passed the 200-page mark of the Raven Scholar, and I earnestly am liking this book so much. And it also just feels like a book so many people would like, and I feel like more people need to be reading it. So obviously, I've already talked about like high level what this book is about. We have Nima, who is a scholar, the high scholar of this realm. She's also a raven. She gets wrapped up in this political conspiracy. Murder is involved in these trials. But aside from Nima, we're also beginning to follow some additional side characters, which I'm really liking. I feel like the narrative quality of the story is continuing to get bigger and bigger as the story moves along, which I like, giving us like more perspectives and just like as the scope of the plot continues to expand because the conspiracy and everything that's happening is like much larger than you would anticipate, as are most plots. You get more characters that you get to follow, which I think works really well, but it's like a slow rollout, which I'm also liking. So aside from Nima, who I adore, who's this like scholarly character, we have her childhood friend, Kane, who is part of like the Fox contingent. So he's like a spy, he's tricky, he's funny, he's hard to pin down. I really like his character. And then obviously we have a lot of the other members who are competing for the right to be emperor, their distinct personalities, their contingents as well. We also have some servants and some other like political figures in play too, which is just so interesting. Like anytime we get to have more information and interactions with other characters, I'm always so invested. I think because the dialogue and the characterization is just like written so well. And they're also playing on like fun character traits I like to encounter in stories, but like not in a shallow way. Like Kane is a great example. He's like that tricky like Fox character, but he doesn't just feel like a stereotype of that type of character. He feels like a fleshed out individual, and like every time we get to learn more about him, I really appreciate it. Also, the plot is just super engaging, and I feel like the author is balancing like these two plot dynamics that she's introduced really well. Like obviously we have this murder mystery. There's Nima doing her individual investigation. She's like trying to find alibis. She's looking for clues. She's like gathering information and all these types of things to try to figure out what happened in that instance, while also balancing like literally trials, combat, and like trying to survive the day-to-day of like the fight for the throne, if you will. And I feel like it'd be really easy for one to be overshadowed by the other, or for the balance to be off plot-wise, but I'm equally as invested and interested in like both of these parallel storylines. And obviously there's going to be some like interplay and intersection because Nima is involved in both, and like they're both politically quite significant. But I just feel like the writing and the structure of the plot is just like super engaging, because we literally have like two propulsive plot elements at play at the same time. And I feel like the author is really balanced in her approach of like telling these storylines. And then lastly, like the mystery of the book, and there are many, it's just so engaging. And I feel like it's like every mystery unlocks like a new mystery. And like, as I've mentioned, the world keeps getting bigger, and the magic, the context of the folklore of this land, like everything is like expanding as the story goes along, and it just makes it so gripping. Like I feel like I'm learning so many new things like with every chapter. There's all these like mini plot twists, if you will, but that's just because there's so many plot dynamics at play, but it's like well done. So it's like good character writing, good plot writing, and just like an interesting world and concept that's being played out. And I'm just like really entertained, and I plan to read more of this today. I really want to get over the 300 page mark of this book by today, which I don't think will be a problem, because like this book is really engaging. Like it's very hard to put down, and I feel like it sucks you in. And it's definitely like one of my favorite like new fantasy series I've read in a minute. Like it definitely just has like so many dynamics I love. So I'm having a really good time with the Raven Scholar, and I'm happy I was able to get a good amount of reading in last night and into this morning. I'm on page like 230. I don't see a problem getting to page 300 at all. But now I'm gonna go for a walk. And I'm gonna really prep and settle in for my day of rot. But first I wanna get some steps in to then not move again for the rest of the day. So cheers to that. Seriously, I really feel like so many people would love this book. You should read it. I'm a sweaty mess, but smoothie. And I'm about to transform into the coziest version of myself. Truly the perfect Saturday. Couldn't ask for a better day, honestly. Hello. I've changed into comfortable clothes. I've also made myself a cup of tea. I'm going to read more in a minute, but first I wanted to play like Tiny Bookshop and watch The Real Housewives of Orange County, the new episode. So like play my game for an hour, then read, and then do a reading update. So let's go catch up with my girls. They're in New Orleans. I also lit this new fall candle. It's one of those like crackling ones. It has a nice ambiance. Just me with Bae. Also Bae is the Peacock app. Let's see.
Supposed to go to eat beignets at Cafe du Monde trip.
It's not gonna happen.
Cheers. That was actually a pretty wild episode of The Real Housewives, but now I'm gonna sit down
and read more of the Raven Scholar. I want to get to page like 275, maybe 3. Well, my goal is to get to 300 by the end of the day. So like 275 right now.
Simply put, this book is so easy to read. I am just constantly entertained by every single thing. And I'm talking like every component. Every time there's a new trial or combat element, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm excited to see, you know, what the riddle is in regards to the trial that they have to solve. I'm always curious to see how it ties in with the different like animal god that's hosting the trial. The combat is well written and I'm intrigued. And then again, this murder mystery just continues to balloon and balloon and balloon and balloon. And so the conspiracy keeps getting bigger. Like the story is building on itself so successfully in the way that you're just like, and then pulled in. It's just an intoxicating plot forward book. And obviously I'm on page like 280 and I'm gonna be so for real, I'm like past 300 pages. I sat down to read and I was like, I'm gonna read a quick like 30, 40 pages, flew through like a full on chunk. I read like 90 pages. It's just really, really clever. And I also love that our main character is from the Raven group because like she's capable in a lot of ways, but I love that her like brain is first. Like she's just very clever and knowledgeable and curious. And I feel like that type of core personality trait driving forward this book, amazing. I also love the character dynamics. I don't know, there's just like so many things that are intriguing me about our main character, about side characters. I'm flying through it. It's so entertaining. Obviously we ordered takeout for dinner, so let's unpack. And dinner is scrumptious. I got Thai food. I have more. I can't wait to eat. Let's go watch my C-drama. This vlog is all about discovering new loves because this C-drama, moving up the ranks. Also, Strawberry Popsicle. But Prisoner of Beauty, incredible. Great news. Freakier Friday was adorable. 10 out of 10. 1, Freaky Friday. Rewatched that earlier in this vlog. Absolutely holds up. So funny, so charming. And Freakier Friday was so cute too. I'm just happy Lindsay Lohan is like back in our lives like that. You know what I mean? It just makes me happy, you know? But also, Raven Scholar, I have made really excellent progress. I am on page 429 and I'm gonna sit down and read more of this today. My hope is to finish it by tomorrow morning. I definitely think I can do, but this is so good. The conspiracy is definitely conspiracy-ing. You know what I mean? It almost makes me feel dumb because there's all of these reveals and I'm like, wow, I feel like I should have saw that coming or in some regard, especially because it's like constantly building on itself. And I'm like, yeah, of course we would be like going in this direction now, but I was so distracted by like the first reveal. I'm just saying, it's clear that this author has experience writing mystery novels because she's translated that skill set into a fantasy landscape really effectively. But what I also find so fun about this series, outside of just being like bamboozled all the time, is I can also tell that the first one is a setup book, but like a setup book that is very entertaining. And I can see the beginnings of like separate storylines and characters that we're gonna follow. And I'm really looking forward to having that experience. This is definitely Nima's book with Nima's character arc. And Nima, I feel like, is likely gonna center this series moving forward, but it's very clear we're going to get character arcs for like these other separate storylines and characters, and I'm really looking forward to like experiencing those. It's giving the same feeling I feel when I read like a Cassandra Clare series. Like the side characters are treated with a lot of care and you're intrigued by them, and you also know that they're going to have like moments that you're going to be really invested in too. I also really like learning more about this like fantasy landscape, both politically but also like the gods and the lore and the different magical abilities. But obviously where I'm at in this book, we're kind of entering like a third act final stretch. There are a lot of power players trying to influence what is going on, and a lot of characters like Nima are just trying to make it through the day. But Nima's also really smart, so she's trying to solve and follow along to things as best she can as well. But the trials, are getting out of hand. And the murder mystery of it all, whew. And obviously, as you would anticipate with a book like this, like everything is obviously interconnected. And I just like didn't see it, you know? And I still don't see the whole picture. And I just need to see the ending of this book. Like I am hooked. So plot forward with great characters. What more could you want? Truly. So entertaining.
Obviously leftover Thai food for lunch. Even better day 2. Hello. It's time to make a giant vat of chili. Let's put on this album, which I'm really liking right now. Audrey Hobart, I don't know. And do lots of chopping. So let's do that.
While the chili cooks, I'm gonna do a reading sprint of the Raven Scholar because I only have about 150 pages left. And again, my goal is to finish it tonight. And the plot is really doing its thing at the moment.
Guys, not to be too dramatic, but this book is bananas. There was some reveals just now, like over the last 50 pages I just read, again, in the home stretch of this book. This is like the perfect balance of plot forward. Like it's plot forward fantasy that's also very clearly written by a woman, you know? I feel like a lot of the plot forward fantasy I've been enjoying over the years are very entertaining, but you can very much tell it's written by a guy because like the characterization or the romance or just how the characters interact, those elements of the story are maybe not my favorite, but like this has, you know, very plot forward, but also has romance and character dynamics and a lead female character that it's like, oh, it's also so well written. It's like got it all, I fear. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. And dinner is served. All right, friends, it's time to sit down now and officially finish the Raven Scholar and hopefully not stay up too late.
Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I'm happy to report that I have finished the entirety of the Raven Scholar, and guys, the end was fantastic. The fact that I now have to wait likely over a year to see how this trilogy is going to continue on is a little bit heartbreaking, but also I'm thrilled to be so committed and interested to a brand new series. I feel like I have found a new fantasy author I can look forward to in regards to their releases, and this really just had it all from like an entertaining fantasy debut first book in a series. I feel like I've been picking up a lot of newer fantasy where I like it, but I don't love it, or something feels like it's missing, or I feel like I'm sacrificing one thing to have more of another thing, but I felt like this book was so balanced, had so many characters to root for. In fact, I felt like the cast of characters kept growing in a good way. I'm captivated. Writing style is approachable and clear and very focused on telling the story, which I think worked for the plot overall. I think the fantasy concept and setting was great. I think the folklore and the animal aspect of this was amazing, and the mystery part, all the twists and turns, the reveals along the way over the course of this novel just made it really hard to put down. I was thoroughly entertained. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I can see why so many people told me I had to get to this right away, because they were right. This was just a really, really good time. So please add this to your TBRs. I really don't think you're gonna be disappointed. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.